what's really going on. Well, I figured something out, in doing these videos, is that I apparently, decode genes, DNA, like find out who they are in history and stuff like that, which, that's important because if you know who you were in history, you know what you're headed for and what you can do to change it, okay? You can sit there and change your whole life. Like Freemasons, the Cabal, they do not want you to know about manifestation, that you can actually do this. Like, they want to keep that all to themselves so that they have everyone coming to them. That way they have control. So that way you really see and understand what's, really been going on, right? Well, I wanted to point out Henry VIII, okay? Remember, he was, very prolific with the cutting off of the heads if, he married someone and they couldn't give him a son, because he was all about, men are more important. Which, that was him that determined it. There was nothing to do with any of them. None of them whatsoever. It was just insane. So, if you realize that Henry VIII also, the King Henry that died by jousting, it was like a cruel death, and it was like his eyes, his forehead, or something like that, which had something to do with Nostradamus' prophecy, okay? But you can follow people in history, okay? All the way back to, King James, at least to that far. But this is also who Hitler was. You look at H.H. Holmes, there's, they pop up. But this is someone that, if you were something in the past, you're always, nothing changes to change the cycle, it's just repeated, right? So if good men see evil and do nothing, then it's like they're agreeing with those that are doing evil, whether they realize that or not. You can't do that. You have to stand up against it. Even come out and speak it out, but you may need to do it in a way that you're not, outright saying their name, okay? But there's other ways of saying things, right? Because they can just look at who's around you. But in knowing and being able to see who they are in the past, that really tells a lot, okay? How are they going to deny, if they've been caught for something, for doing something now, and it's something that they've done before in the past, each lifetime, okay? Like someone obsessed over having a male heir, like Tsar Nicholas, okay? It's just, same things are repeated, okay? It just goes on and on. But, people are talking about exposing the cabal. Wouldn't it be helpful to know who the head of the cabal is? This is who I'm talking about. I'm talking about someone that has control of the Bible. Why do they have control of the Bible? Because they're the one that originally wrote it. Who wrote the Bible? People say God did. Well, are you saying that King James is God? Think about that. He's the one that wrote it. The original, comes from John Knox, who, they call the Geneva Bible the John Knox Bible. The first beast gave his power over the second beast. He did the destiny swap with baby King James. It's just been an ongoing cycle with these people. Catherine de Medici was, the de Medicis were known as, the Renaissance period for, bringing that in. I'm sure probably trying to starve the artists so they were money hungry, they were materialistic, and all they wanted was to be royal. Well, if we're not That's certain bloodlines. You can't force something, you know what I mean? But that's what they were about trying to do. That's, sending in a Trojan horse in one form or another. Without people realizing they were Medicis, just because they want to control everything. And that's where you get, King James, because they snuck him in, not, I don't believe that was knowingly. It was like baby switched or something like that, or switched when they come across, the water, whatever. But something's going on there. But they were up to doing fraud, okay? Like I've experienced people doing to me my whole life, like forging my signature and doing things I knew nothing about, using my name, using my credit, all this stuff. I've never bought anything on loan or anything like that. I paid cash, I just paid for it, which would take a while to get the money up. These people have been attacking me in every way to keep me from earning money. That's like their biggest goal. That's a crime against humanity. Keeping someone tied down, like horrible horse or gullible travel, that they can't, earn any money, but they're not allowed to earn any money. And that if they have an inheritance, such as a home, land, but you keep it from them. I've been homeless and dealing with staying here, staying there, because that's what this so-called family, where I find myself, because I'm a stolen, kidnapped child, okay, baby, now grown up. Yeah, so like I've been lost. I don't, it is what it is. There's a lot of Cabbage Patch Kids that are somewhere that they don't necessarily belong, but it may be like an uncle or something like that, or aunt or whatever. They change the shit up. But keep an eye on them. Well, why would they do that? Why would they do that? Now this one, right in his house, okay? Probably not telling anyone I'm right in his house, I'm sure. But, if I'm stolen, kidnapped, and history repeats itself, they've done it to my kids. They've stolen my kids away, and they've used the law to do it. Judges, police, they pay people off. But people think that police aren't dirty, they're corrupt, or judges aren't. Come on, you've got some real rose-colored glasses on, because there's plenty of them. It's really thick here. Let's say Baldwin, Piano County, Alabama. Okay, way corrupt. All right, this is pay for play. These people steal money, siphon it. They've been stealing and siphoning off of me my whole